Welcome to another episode of the Nothing and Everything podcast, where today
we talk. Oh, I don't know what I was thinking. I'm so excited to be back. Let's start over. Do it again. Sorry.
Where today we'll talk a lot of nothing
And a little bit about everything.
Kyle?
I don't even know what happened there.
I feel like you're still riding pretty high from your adventures from last week. Is that right?
Yeah, I am riding really high.
Why don't
I
you?
feel like we haven't sat down and done this in a while, even though it's been
just 1 week.
7 days.
It
feels
been
like a long time.
1 week since you looked at me.
It had.
Do you know that song? It's been 1
1
week
week since you looked at me. Yeah.
Where were you last week?
I was at camp. I was the camp speaker, camp pastor at a kids' camp at beautiful Ridgecrest, North Carolina.
What was that like?
So, I mean, Ridgecrest is nice. I've been before. I mean, the weather was perfect all week. I mean, it was,
as opposed to not perfect this week.
Right, it was not 99
right.
once. I don't think we barely got over 79.
My grass was crunchy. You know what I'm saying? When you walk on it, like my dog doesn't even want to use the
Did you
bathroom
water
in
it at
there.
all?
Well, I watered it this morning.
Like the whole thing?
No, just the front.
Ain't nobody care about
Nobody can see the back, so just the front yard. So, but it won't matter because it's all dead.
99.
Like the ground's like it's too late.
You know, because it's funny because like 4 or 5 days ago, it's like, oh, we're going to have 2 days. One day's going to be like 99, one day's going to be like 96. And then I looked at it this morning, it's like 99, 99, 101, 98, 99. And I was like, dang, that's 5 days of heat.
Yeah. You know, I went and ran this morning.
Ew.
And like the first mile in, I was dying. I was sweating through everything I had on, which typically I don't run fast enough to sweat that much. But, man, I was sweating like crazy this morning. Crazy.
So camp was great.
Camp.
Yo.
What else happened at camp? Anything else happened?
What else happened
Anything
at
good?
camp? Let's see. It was a good week.
This is Century Kid Camp,
Century
right?
Kid Camp.
Okay.
I mean, it's probably not just Century, but like speaking at camp is probably, strangely, like I probably feel the most comfortable.
Yeah.
Just with the atmosphere.
Well, you do a great job though. You bring some significant hype when you walk out there.
Well, I don't know about that, but like I just feel like it's different from Sunday morning. It's relaxed.
Yeah.
With kids camp, there's kids in the room. You don't know what I like. Kind of the unpredictability of kids. Like, are they going to say something? You know, that happens all the time, and I feel like that's my favorite. Like, throw something at me that I didn't see coming. Like, I will say. So the last day, maybe I shouldn't. They're never going to hear this.
Right.
There was
They
a
might.
pretty large church that was there, and Friday morning they have like the kind of the send off. Everybody gets together and it's all hype, upbeat, whatever. And I come out and do like the last minute 10-minute charge or whatever. So we'd already done a few songs and videos and stuff like that. And I had got out there and I was just like, hey guys, this is the last day. It's been a great weekend. Kind of recapping, and like the whole church just starts getting up and walks out. And they were like with the front like 3-4 rows.
Whoa.
They just, I guess the bus was there already.
You didn't pull the buses will wait.
I didn't say that.
No,
what is that from?
Billy Graham. That guy singing Just As I Am, and he was like, the buses
George
will
Beverly
wait.
Shea.
Is that who it is?
I mean, I know that guy, but I don't know the buses will wait part. What?
He used to always say that. The buses will wait on you. Come down.
Billy did?
Yeah, man.
I don't think I'd ever.
I was in the Georgia Dome or whatever it was
Did
called.
you see Billy live?
I saw Billy live.
I love how we made the transition from me, camp speaker, Billy Graham.
I mean,
it seems to be the natural progression.
It's a natural thing. You two are one and the same
Seriously,
to me. So I would have said.
Did you see him live?
Yeah.
Billy Graham?
Yeah.
Once or more than once? I saw him once.
I think I saw him just once.
How
Did he speak at a Promise Keepers? Probably not.
I don't.
I think those
don't
are two
know.
different groups.
Did you ever go to Promise Keepers?
I went one time to Promise Keepers.
Where?
Probably in the Georgia Dome as well.
Oh.
Yeah, I grew up in Atlanta, so all the big conferences were at the Georgia Dome, so we just would go there. The Georgia Dome, which is now the
old school.
Mercedes-Benz,
Yeah.
dome or whatever, arena, whatever, stadium, where the Falcons play.
I saw Billy Graham. What year? It would have been like, I don't know, maybe 2000-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And it was some like he was in Nashville, so it was at Titans, whatever the Titan Stadium. But it was one of the things where it was kind of geared toward young people, the youth.
Mm-hmm. And they brought in Billy.
Well, they brought in Billy, but like the bands were like kind of the
POD.
You just dropped POD on this group.
Youth of a Nation.
No, I know Youth of a Nation. I know Here
Boom.
Comes the Boom. I saw them several times live.
Yeah?
Yeah. So we've gone from Camp Speaker Kyle, Billy Graham.
Back in my Georgia days.
POD.
POD. Back in my Georgia days, there was a...
You don't want to go down this road with me.
Well, no, listen.
Like,
I was on staff at this church.
Late 90s, early 2000, like Christian rock. You don't want to go on.
You'll like the story then.
Oh, gosh.
I was on staff at a church in Peachtree City, Georgia. It's a wonderful church. Love the pastor there. Even still to this day, he's a good friend. Well, the band that I had, it was student band, students that were in the band, and I had these two brothers, and their mom was a concert promoter in town, like a local concert promoter.
Yeah.
But she didn't do she did like all Christian like Christian bands, right? And so they had a basement in their house, and they converted their basement to just a big like bunk room, right? So there was just bunks everywhere. And so anytime these bands would, why are you laughing?
It's just funny because I see some similarities in my life during that time as well.
So these bands would come into town, and they would stay at their house.
Well, I had a few stay at my house.
So I would go over there because the two boys that were her two sons were in my band at church. So I'd go and I'd hang out, and I get to meet some of these people. So that's how I met a ton of like guys like Reliant K and like bands like that. So bands that I had no idea, being who I am.
Yeah.
I had no idea the music.
Who I am.
Like I met the W's and like 5 Iron Frenzy and people like that.
Yeah,
so
I saw
Roper. So they're like, hey, we're such and such, and I'm like, yeah, sounds great, man.
There was this band
I don't know
one.
Anything about y'all.
So we were in Lynchburg, and this would have been like college, and there was kind of this scene of kind of that like. Yeah, I don't even know how you describe it. I mean, it was like hardcore and punk rock and these Christian bands that would travel, Christian or not, whatever. So there was a couple small venues that they'd play at, like in Lynchburg, and I wasn't like I never played in a band or anything like that. Actually, I take that back. I was in a band once.
I could see you lead vocals.
I was lead
on,
vocals.
Yeah.
We
I
were
could see
called Foolproof, but it was PRUF, like the German spelling. It was called Foolproof. We played.
Was anybody German?
2 shows. We played one in the bathroom of the Vine Center.
That's weird.
Yeah, well, it was the one place we could do it for free, and then we did a house party one time in Lynchburg. It's so stupid.
You remember the movie House Party? Kid and Play?
Kid and Play? Oh, yeah. It wasn't anything like that.
I feel like me and you were like Kid and Play.
But
anyway.
Wait, so it's who's who?
So anyway, finish your story.
No, but anyway, so like there was a couple times where these bands would come through, and these were small venues, and like I don't know if these guys are making a couple $100 just to get to the next place,
if that. Yeah.
So a couple of them, would stay at our house. There was one these are like bands that were like on Tooth and Nail and stuff like that.
Tooth and Nail, I remember them.
There was one band called this was pretty gutter, like Roadside Monument and 90 Pound Wuss. It was like this punk band.
Oh yeah.
They stayed at our house. And we were just like, there's a part of us like it was like kind of geeking out, like fanboy, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's there.
90 Pound Wuss is here. Yeah,
it was so weird.
I remember one time we went to the Dove Awards in Nashville.
Oh wow.
Like
were you like a nominee or something?
Definitely not. All right,
vocal artist of the male vocalist of the year.
We went to Nashville, and the Dove Awards were happening there. Okay, at the same time we were there. We just went just to go.
That reminds me. I have a good story. Go ahead. Keep going.
Okay. So anyway, we wanted to go because we just wanted to walk around because every Christian band is there and they're all like in some of these like
they're like hanging out and they play
it was a good chance to go see all these different people for free.
Yeah.
So we were walking. Well, I was with those two brothers and their mom. And we're walking, and these 3 dudes walked up to us, and they're I mean, they all hugged and shook hands, and I shook their hands and was talking to them and stuff, and they were like, hey, when you are back in town, be sure you stay with us. And they're like, oh, definitely. Called them by name, everything. So we started walking off, and I was like, man, who are those guys? And they're like, they're kind of a small band, little startup, but they had a hit song that was in a movie with Mandy Moore. The song was Dare You to Move. The band was Switchfoot.
Oh, wow.
So I met Switchfoot on a street corner someplace
in Nashville. You told him to come stay at your house, like, hey,
well, no, I didn't, because I didn't know who they were, just 3 surfer
cool,
dudes.
though, yeah.
But I was like, man, I met the Foreman brothers and John and Tim, and then whoever the third guy is. I don't know who he is. Anyway, I feel bad. I don't know who he is. But.
So I remember one time, this was kind of like, I guess after I was kind of in that scene, like, I mean, me and my brother, a bunch of dudes in college, like, we'd go to these shows, we'd drive 2-3 hours, like, to see these metal or punk bands, whatever. There's just always like crazy funny stuff would happen. But so I had kind of got past that stage of life of like, going around. I was married. I think I had my first kid, and I was in Nashville, and it's all happening right now too. The Southern Baptist Convention was there.
In Nashville?
Yeah, it was in Nashville. So this would have been like, I don't know, or mid like 2005, maybe 4, somewhere around in there. And I remember I was honestly going to the actual convention. I was there for that purpose, but I was by myself, and I was meeting some other people there because we had family that was like staying down the 30 minutes. So Carrie was staying there. And I remember walking by, and I saw that Norma Jean was playing, and I was like, I'm going in there. So I was like $10 cover charge, and I was like, I stayed in there in the back. And rocked out for about 30 minutes, and it's like, all right, now I got to get it.
Okay, let me tell you the story about Norma Jean.
Because they're from Georgia, aren't they?
They're from Douglasville, Georgia.
Yeah.
And so...
And they're hard, too.
My two brothers, so one of them was their drummer, the other one ran lights for him or something like that, something crazy for him.
Your 2 brothers?
The 2 brothers that were in my band. So they were like best friends with them, and one of them became like their lighting director or something like that whenever they were on tour, which was just full bright, and then, or dark first, and then... And then when the beat dropped,
so I remember thinking, I was like, I'm probably the only person who's at the SBC, but I'm gonna go see Norma Jean for 30 minutes, and I was like, that was amazing.
Yeah, Norma Jean, man,
made me think about that.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that name in a while. Actually, the first time I ever met the guy, it was the first time I ever saw someone's face being pierced that much. I'd never seen that before. So he had like earrings everywhere, all over his face.
Earrings all over his face.
Yeah, it was weird.
Do you have one of these? Like
one,
eyebrow?
Yep, there.
Do you have this one? What is this one called?
I don't know what that's called.
The bridge of the nose.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bridge o' nose.
I was watching the SBC a little while ago, actually.
Yeah.
Just before we came in here. Yeah, it's this week out in wherever it is. And where is it?
Anaheim.
Oh, Anaheim. Yeah. So I was watching, and this guy was leading worship, and he had a lady up there with him, and she had a piercing in her nose. What is that called right there when it's right there? This like the septum or something like that? What is that called, Austin? This is where you can add some value here.
Remember, that's the younger side of the room over there.
Oh, yeah. Austin made very clear earlier that there's 2 sides of this room. He drew the line pretty hard.
Seriously.
He's the only one on his side.
All the younger people know this, and we're like,
we were talking about that ASMR thing, and he was like, oh, yeah, everyone knows what that is.
I thought he was talking about AARP, and I was like, what? I know about that.
I don't know about that. Do you get stuff from them yet? I think you got to be like 50.
I don't think I do.
Okay.
My wife did the other day. She got a senior discount at some store. She screenshot it. She took a picture on the receipt, circled it, and said, "I got a senior discount."
Oh my gosh! Speaking of, when I was on vacation, okay, so I believe that. Well, first of all, I love root beer. Okay, root beer.
Root beer.
Root beer. So my favorite root beer is IBC in a bottle.
I get that.
It's just hands down my favorite. Good. Every now and then I like to go to a place
where...
I like
that Virgil or Dr. Virgil.
Virgil's.
That one's good.
Okay, so I was buying some Virgil's because my middle child, Gavin, likes root beer as well. He's the only one in my house that likes root beer. So we were buying some root beer for him on vacation. We go through the line, and there was 2 ladies. There was a checkout lady, and then there was the girl that was bagging bagging the groceries for us. And so Tammy and I were there. And so the lady that was scanning, she scanned and she looked at me and she was about to ask me for my ID. But then she said, "Oh, I was going to card you, but I see this is root beer, so no need." So I was like, "Oh yeah,
you
well,
card me
sure,
'cause I look
whatever."
so young.
So then the girl that was bagging the groceries, she's like, "Oh, I would have carded you." And I looked at her like, "What?
What?
You would have carded me?"
Are they like college age?
Are they
trying to make the old man feel better about himself or what?
You know, when you live near the beach, they're kind of weathered a little bit more there. The people there, I guess. So
I always see that one guy walking down the beach that has never
Right.
put like suntan lotion on in his life, and he is like
That's right.
leather.
Yep.
There's a part of me that's like, I want to be that guy. Like eventually one day.
No, that's terrible. That's terrible. Anyway,
Like,
so
hey, he's 33, but he looks like he's not.
yeah, he uses like Armor All to bathe. Yeah. Anyway, so she looked at me and she was like, "Yeah, I definitely would have carded you."
That made you feel good, didn't it?
So I look over at Tammy, and then she says something to the effect of, "No, I probably wouldn't have carded her, but I'd have carded you."
Sorry, Tammy.
We were doing some timeshare thing a while back as well, and the guy looked at me like we told him we had 3 kids because timeshare deal. They're like, "Hey, you can will this to your kids
Let's
or whatever."
talk about. I got a good story about
Yeah.
that.
So I told the guy, I was like, "Yeah, we got 3 kids, but I don't want to leave them this kind of
There
stuff."
is no harder sales pitch. In the
Well,
world.
right.
Yeah.
So the guy was like, "You have 3 kids?"
Oh my gosh, let's talk.
And he was like, "How old are they?" And they were, I guess maybe one of them was a teenager at the time, or whatever. And he was like, "Are you serious?" And he looks at my wife. He was like, "Okay, yeah." I was like, "Well, you
busted on your wife."
I was like, "You could have had a sale today, but you didn't." So anyway,
So
those timeshare things.
wait, Austin's over here like waiting
Oh,
to give us
yeah.
the definition of a septum piercing or something.
Is that what it's called?
It's called a septum piercing, but it's also called a bull ring piercing.
Yeah,
A bull ring?
Yeah.
Oh, I think septum.
I respect
piercing
the
sounds
ones
a lot
where it's
better.
like the hook, or I don't know what you call it, and then it's like, oh, now I need to be prim and proper, and they're like stick it up in their nose. I'm like, that's the way to go. You
What?
can hide it.
Oh, you can hide that?
I mean, I've seen them do it. I'm like,
I just have so many questions.
yeah.
I won't ask them here.
Well,
I just have so many questions about that.
so one time we were at back to the
timeshare?
the timeshare
Yeah.
thing. So we go to a place that's we don't own one because whatever, but we have some family members that do, and it's great. Kids love it. It's like a yearly vacation at Christmas time and stuff like that. But they always try to get you. Oh, you're here, and we'll take you on this tour, and
Right.
we'll give you all this free stuff. And like sometimes I'm like, hey, look, if we can be hardcore, we can walk out of here with $300 worth of stuff.
Oh yeah,
But you got to be,
right.
like I'm not buying a thing. So we did it several times, and we get like water park tickets and $100 Visa card or whatever. But you got to be, you got to be willing to get your feelings hurt.
Right.
You got to be pretty callous. And so we'd done it several times. It might have been the first time we had been there, like with Emmy with us. So we had 4 kids. And so Carrie was like,
Whoa, you took your kids with you to the presentation?
yeah. Because that's like the easy out too.
Oh,
like,
that is
you look
easy out.
crazy, you look scattered. You're like, oh, I'm sorry, I gotta go.
You
take
give
this
them one
kid to the
look, and then
bathroom.
they all break down at the same
Yeah,
time.
and
so you
they're
get
all
them
just
walk
like
out.
losing their mind because it's taking like, oh, this will only take a few minutes, and it's like 3 hours later. But before we went, we had been through it a few times just to get the free stuff.
Sure.
Not bought a thing, and Carrie was like, I want to do it, but I don't feel like doing it. I want them to think that I'm crazy, and that's not really my wife. So she's like, I'm gonna let the kids do my makeup for me. So
What?
I'm not joking. So she had them do like eyeshadow, and then she looked like some crazy, like insane clown posse looking thing. No, not like that, but like
ICP, huh?
yeah, well. And so I was like, babe, you look ridiculous. She's like, I'm gonna go through the whole thing like this.
Did it work?
We stuck it out and went through it.
my
I'm sure they thought
gosh.
this is some kind of joke or this
Yeah.
lady's a little bit off,
Right.
and she a little bit of both, I guess.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna do it, you gotta have fun with it, and you gotta stick to your guns.
We went in the first time. We went in like, we will not do this. We will not do this. But we got like,
you will not buy, or you will
we
not
will
go
not
through the
buy.
presentation.
We will not buy.
Yeah.
But we got like a 3 or 4 night vacation
Yeah, you did.
there
Yeah, you did.
for like $59 a night in Orlando,
Yeah.
where every week is a red week. So which means you can trade to go anywhere you want, and so they're like, so we go through the deal. It's a 90-minute deal, so you just got to sit through it, right? and the whole time they're throwing all kinds of stuff at you. So we're like, no, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. The guy walks up, and he's just like, who doesn't want to go on vacation all the time? I'm like, yeah, I do. I want to go on vacation all the time. Where do we sign? Where do we sign? So we signed that stupid paperwork.
Did you really?
Yes, man. The very first time. I mean, the guy wasn't. He didn't even.
So you own one still?
No.
Aren't these like for life or something?
No. So what we did was we were.
But you're an owner now.
Well, first of all, we had no money.
Right.
So it was like, I don't know why we're doing this. We don't have any money. But the guy was like,
funny.
It's $800, and we'll charge you over the next year. But in that year, you can get, several different. We'll give you 2 free weeks anywhere in the country, like trade your weeks. So we're like, well, for $800, where else can we go for $800? Anywhere in the country for 2 weeks. Well, we can't go anywhere else. So I was like, that sounds like a good deal. Even if we just do the year-long plan.
A good deal. Yep.
So we do the year-long plan, $800. We ended up going to the Grand Canyon that year. We stayed like in Scottsdale or in Phoenix. No, Scottsdale, Arizona. Went to Sedona, which is probably one of our favorite places in the world. But it was really fun to do that. But then when that year went up, man, we were done. We were done with it.
How'd you get out though? I thought they were like.
We only did
like.
There's different levels.
Very difficult to get out of.
They are, but they were offering different levels or whatever. So we ended up getting 3 or 4 nights at $59 a night in Orlando.
I was just breaking down timeshares.
They gave us free tickets to like Universal, and we were there over Mother's Day, and there was no one there but us. Nice. So we rode the Hulk like twice, like in consecutive rides. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I mean, it's just a lot of stuff like that. So, they're not all terrible. I would say don't ever do it. But at the time, it worked out for us. But since that time, we're like, we're not doing this again. So we're pretty hardcore with saying no.
It's a lot of pressure.
And I'm like,
I have a hard time like returning something to a store. Like, and my wife is like, had the whole like couponing background.
Yeah,
So
that's
like,
right.
all this like, and so I'm like, babe, I'm gonna take the kids to the car. You're gonna have to take care of this. If it's customer service related, because I'm always like, I just feel bad. Okay, just rip me off.
Yeah, no.
But when it comes to that, because I have been through that a few times, and I'm like, they just get nasty too. Like,
I like to haggle. I like to do that.
I can see that in you.
So even like buying a car. Like, I like to go back and forth, and when they say this, I like this. Like, I was buying my truck, for instance. This is 10 years ago.
I'd like to do that outside of the continental United States.
What?
Like barter.
Oh, no, man. No, I was buying my truck. The sticker said one price, and I was like, no, I'm not going to give you that. I'd like to have it for less, blah, blah, blah. And so I had a friend of mine who sells cars, and he's like, always start, like, if you want to get crazy, start like 30% lower than the sticker. Start negotiating there. Then you can kind of work your way up.
Yeah.
And then hopefully by the end you're at, 15 or 20% less than what's on the sticker, which is, pretty good, whatever, right? So I do that, and the guy's like, no. So I leave. I pull back up my driveway. I live about 8 minutes away from the dealership, and they call me.
Yep.
Because when you first walk in, I gave him a card.
Mm-hmm.
That way he's got my number. Because I know this game. I know what he's going to do.
Ooh,
I know this game. I got game. Anyway, he got game. Was that Denzel?
I don't know. I know the movie, but I've never seen it.
It is Denzel.
I haven't seen many movies.
No, that's the Hurricane. The Hurricane is Denzel.
Yeah, the boxing movie.
Right. Anyway, so I
They called you.
I left. The guy called me back. I went back up there, and I said, "Nah, this is the price I want to pay for the truck." And he didn't like that. And I said, "All right, that's good. I'm out." So I got in my car and left again.
Oh, twice.
But this time I went to Starbucks, which is like in the next parking lot over, and waited because I knew he'd call me back. Sure enough, he called me back. So I went back in there.
I thought you were going to negotiate at Starbucks.
No. So
I ain't paying $5.85 for this grande latte.
Yeah, no. So I went back over there, and I ended up getting my truck for the price I wanted to pay for it. And then I told the guy, like the guy was like, "Hey, I'm going to go and get it cleaned up for you." I said, "Well, hey, I noticed when I was test driving it, there was not much gas in it. Do you mind filling it up?"
Oh.
And he was like, "Man, are you serious?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm buying a truck from you. At least you can just fill it up. It wasn't going to cost you $50. Go fill it up for me, whatever." So he was like, "Man, okay." And I said, "Hey, and look, if you if you go inside to pay, I really like a cherry Coke.
You did not.
I promise. And the guy was like, man, whatever. So he leaves, comes back, full tank cherry Coke sitting in the console. And I said, all right, I like these guys. I'll do business with these guys.
I used to be terrible at it, but the last couple of the last 2 vehicles I bought, bought with cash. I mean, they're used or whatever, but I couldn't have done that when I was 25.
Yeah.
At 45, though, I'm a little more grizzled.
Grizzled? What?
Yeah.
What does this mean?
I don't know, but I could take. I'm like,
you got to negotiate, man.
Well, I'm saying I could do it now. It
Yeah.
It is a skill I had to acquire.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Well,
Hey, have you ever been to? Hey, this is something we did last week.
Yeah.
I thought this was interesting.
yeah, this is
You ever
good
been
because
to-
typically you don't do anything but yard work.
Right. So my last week was amazing.
Yeah, there you
I did
go.
a whole lot
There
of
you
stuff.
go.
I did cut the grass on Saturday though.
Oh, gosh.
So how about this? I had the most dad moment too. The man lives next door. We're probably about the same age, and it was just like, hey, so what are you cutting your grass? Like it was like, hey, what setting are you cutting your grass on? My wife wants me to start cutting because yours looks better than ours. All this stuff, and I was just like, man, I wish somebody could film this. This is like the most classic dad move ever right here.
Were
So.
you wearing some New Balance?
I didn't have.
Some
I had
white
New
New
Balance
Balance?
and some jorts, and I didn't, but I could see that happening.
Oh, man.
But
That
anyway,
was awesome.
you ever been to? We took a little day trip. We kind of snuck away from camp one day when there wasn't a whole lot going on. Sliding Rock, North Carolina.
No, I've
It's
never been
over in
there.
the Pisgah National Park.
Oh, yeah.
Like over near Brevard and Hendersonville.
Yeah.
It's like this natural
That's a
rock,
long
like
way,
down
isn't
the. Well, it's only an hour from the,
Oh,
from the
okay.
camp, so it wasn't that bad. I think from here it's like 2 or something.
Yeah.
But like it's like a 60-foot of just rock where the water has gone over it, and it was except for some bumps,
Right.
it was smooth, and you start up at the top, and you just ride the wave down, and it drops off, probably, I don't know, maybe 10 by 10 feet, but it was like 8 feet deep.
Yeah.
So you were just going to go straight down.
Into
It
a
was
little
a
pool.
whole lot of fun.
Yeah?
So the water was like 50 degrees, 55 degrees.
Was there a lot of people there?
We went on like Wednesday in the middle of the day. Hardly anybody was. I mean, there was like 20 people there. So I did it like 5 or 6 times. My kids all did it once, and then they didn't want to do it again because the water was so cold. I mean, when you hit the water,
Oh,
it
man.
took your breath away.
Oh.
But it was fun. And I was like, hey, I'm going to go do it again. Forget you kids.
You sit over there and sulk, you
That's
kids.
right. I'm a free spirit. So our 2-year-old did it. Like she
Oh,
had to
wow.
do it with Marley, but
Mhm.
it was fun. I just thought it was cool.
Yeah.
And it cost like $5 to do. And so like it's super easy day trip. And like 2 miles down the road, there's like a waterfall that we went and kind of hung out around. I
Don't-
thought it was cool. I'd never
So
been
you were
over
out
that area.
chasing. You were out chasing waterfalls.
Well, I try to lean into don't. I should not have gone to chase the waterfall. What kind of advice would you give me if I said, maybe I should chase some waterfalls?
No, I would say, man, stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to.
So stupid.
I was watching TV last night, and this special was on about swimming pools.
T-Boz, chili, or left eye. Which one was your favorite?
Well, they all had some trouble.
Like, am I burn your house down?
Yeah. Do you
I
know?
always thought Chili was she was my favorite.
Do you know whose house she burned down?
Andre Rison?
Mm-hmm. Wide receiver
Look
for
at
the
us.
Falcons, taking it way back.
So random.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, you started saying something before the TLC diversion.
Right. So I was watching a special last night on the news, and they were talking about like people going on vacation.
Remember that line
And-
that was jarred over here? I was
Yes.
watching the
Yeah.
news last
Oh, yeah.
night.
Yeah.
Right before the Jeopardy came on.
Yeah, right. So they had this special on where they're talking about pools in like big name places, like these big
Pools,
high
like
rise,
swimming
like a
pools?
swimming pool,
Yeah.
because they'll put a lot of people in them, and they'll do like parties and all that kind of stuff, right? So there's like it's so many people. There was a shot they showed a shot of video, and you never saw the water.
Oh.
There were so many people in that pool. So
That is-
these people came and took a sample of like 5 different ones, and this lady was like one pool had 10 million
Oh.
different
disgusting. I don't wanna
kinds
know.
of bacteria.
I don't want to
stuff
know
like that.
because I go to my neighborhood
Another
pool.
one had 100 million. Like they were like, this has E. coli in it. Every person in here could die because there's so much bacteria inside these pools. That was gross.
Yeah, you just ruined the rest of my summer.
Well, I mean, like I didn't swim at all on vacation. I never even stuck my foot in the pool.
Really?
Yeah, and typically I do. Typically I don't mind.
Man, my kids love it though.
But I don't know. I just I don't really care to get up in a pool like that anymore. I guess I don't know.
It is kind of gross when you see like, oh, there's some hair floating by.
Well, of course,
or
I
something,
did
you know.
eat 5 dozen donuts, so that might have had
That's why you
something
didn't
to
wanna
do
go
with
to the
it.
pool.
Maybe I had a little bit of shame.
What should I do today? Should I go swim in 5 dozen donuts?
I'll just sit there and keep eating.
What kind of donuts did you get?
There's a little place out there called Daybreak Donuts.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard of it, I think. but
Yeah, it used to be called Fractured Prune or something like that. Donuts.
I have not
And
heard of
they
that
changed the
place.
name. It's pretty
My
incredible.
kids love some donuts.
It's like the ones where it's like a good cake donut. The base is just really good,
Mhm.
good cake donut, and then they decorate it
Put
with
a
all the
bunch of
stuff.
junk on it,
Oh yeah, put bacon.
Fruity
The
Pebbles,
maple
whatever,
bacon one or whatever.
Ooh,
That's
maple
always
bacon, that's a good one.
that's always a good one.
Mm.
So they got good stuff like that, man. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Well, we have thoroughly talked about nothing today.
Yeah, that's what we do.
It's what
we're known
we
for.
do.
20 episodes in,
Is this 20? This is 20.
isn't it?
Episode 20.
Episode 20.
Yep. We have show notes, and we haven't even.
I didn't even
Looked
know we
at
had show notes either.
Well,
The show notes are usually 1 or 2 lines or like 1 or 2 words.
there's a lot of stuff on here today.
And I think maybe our producer was giving us some instructions, which I can't even see.
I think our producer was
And
trying
I
to
was like,
say,
not even going to look at it.
"Hey, talk about this content." This is one thing he actually did say.
He told me, he said, how can you work in 90-pound wuss into your...
Is that? Oh no,
No,
he
I'm
doesn't
just
even know
kidding.
who
He
that
doesn't
is.
know who he is. He's too young.
He's like, I don't know who that guy is.
Yeah.
He actually did write. Kyle actually did something else this weekend. We were talking about how all you
I got a
ever
lot
talk
going on this
about
summer,
is
like, yeah.
cutting grass or doing some yard work.
It's
Wah,
pretty-
wah. Yeah.
It's pretty lame.
Yeah, I was always hoping you'd have at least one boy that could, do all the yard work for you. But yeah, my lawnmower broke actually.
Really?
Yeah, sitting by itself. No one has any idea how it broke. It just doesn't work anymore.
A few weeks ago, like, I didn't change the oil because it says, oh, you don't have to change the oil. But I was like, it's been a while since I put oil in here, even though it was running fine. And I'm not mechanically inclined. And I was like, I'm just going to top it off a little bit, put a little something in there. And that joker was smoking like crazy.
on.
Like, I would mow the grass and just
You
start
put oil
pouring.
in a lawnmower?
Yeah, it takes like that. It's like small engine oil.
I have
You've never changed.
never put oil
Maybe that's why I just stopped running.
oil
Oil.
in a
I put
mower.
oil. Really?
Yeah, so when it just locks up,
Yeah.
I just think
It's time to get a new mower.
it's running.
$300.
I
I go
mean,
get
this
me
is.
another push mower.
This lasted 6 years without.
That's not a bad. Yeah.
No. So 6 years, cuts grass, throw the thing away, get you a new one. Whatever oil
You
comes
ever
in it.
sharpen the blade?
What?
You ever sharpen the blade?
What blade?
What do you mean what blade?
I mean, the blade up underneath?
yeah.
No, man. A friend of mine got his finger cut off when he was young.
Well,
I'm never touching that blade. I'm just saying his nail grew back all funny.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I'm not with that, bro. I'm not doing that. So it's just gonna have to be dull. It could just be like
It just pushes the grass down. Like it's like.
as long as it stays down for a week, I'm good. Push it down, stay down for a week. Come back up later. I'm good with that.
That's disappointing.
Yeah. So I'm not putting oil in my mower.
Don't do it. But you got to go buy a new one now.
Well, no, I'm gonna fix this one. I'm gonna watch a YouTube video. I'm gonna take the whole thing apart and fix it.
There's no way.
You hide and watch. I'm gonna
No.
do it.
Hide and watch.
You hide and watch. I'm gonna do that this week. We're gonna talk
There
about
is
this next
no
week.
way. No way.
All right, done deal.
All right.
I'll take a picture of my lawnmower in a million pieces in my driveway,
And you're going to put it back
and
together.
I'm gonna put it back together. I will not take it to a shop.
I feel like this is a setup somehow.
There's no setup. I'll fix it myself.
All right. We'll find out in episode 21.
In episode 21. All right. Well, man, this has been a great episode again. And
So much fun.
Kyle, it's always good to see you, man.
You as well.
And yeah,
I don't know how we're going
I'll-
to squeeze them in all summer, but we're going to do it.
we'll figure it
That's
out.
what our people want.
We'll figure it out. We're here for the people.
Dare I say fans?
I wouldn't say
I-
fans.
yeah, that's a
wouldn't say
little-
fans.
yeah.
Just people at this point. Some fans, but half those people left. Remember the bad news we got from Austin last week?
Here, our Instagram
Yeah.
followers are down by
Yeah.
300 people.
What kind of producer is that?
Seriously.
Hey, great
You're
job,
supposed to pump
guys,
us up,
but
Jack.
you lost them all. So you guys are terrible. Thanks. All right. Hope you had a great time.
I wonder why.
Yeah. We'll catch you next week on the Nothing and Everything podcast. See ya.